Hello, everybody. Aaron Capon here with SomaticSessionsAnywhere.com. One of the turning points in my sort of, self-healing journey, and also in my understanding of people as a somatic experiencing practitioner, was to be able to think of myself as a human animal and to be able to recognize that we're all human animals. And what I mean by that is that we live in a society that glorifies our intellect, that glorifies our sort of, what separates us from the animals, our reasoning and our language and our ability to have impulse control, this kind of thing. However, we are still mammals and we still have pretty much the same fundamental wiring that other mammals do. It's just that the balance is shifted a little bit. We have our fancy neocortex that does the thinking and the reasoning and the impulse control on top of all that other circuitry. And when I realized this, I realized that you can have a lot more empathy for what happens inside you throughout the day. You know, anything that happens to you, imagine that happening to your dog, or imagine it happening to a squirrel. You know, if you're walking down the street and someone just turns and like yells at you, that'd be the equivalent of a squirrel walking through the woods, rounding the corner on a tree, and seeing, a coyote suddenly like growl at it. It would be terrifying. That squirrel would bolt. You're walking down the street, someone yells at you. Your brain kicks in, says, "Oh, this person's sort of, crazy or aggressive, but they don't seem to be attacking me. Therefore, they're probably not a threat. I've seen things like this before, so I'm not going to run." And you override the impulse to run or fight, and you just keep going about your business, and you think to yourself, "Oh, what's the world coming to?" But the fact is, physiologically, you had the same reaction as that squirrel. Your heart started pounding, your adrenaline and cortisol started releasing. And just because you have the fancy brain that let you override your running away impulse doesn't change the fact that your body still had that reaction and that those feelings are going to kind of linger with you. And then the next time you see someone who looked like the person who yelled at you, squirrel brain or monkey brain or dog brain is going to potentially kick in and say, "Oh, possible threat." And your brain will still override it and say, "Oh, no, it's not the same person, blah, blah, blah." But the point is, these things happen physiologically because we are animals, and it's helpful and useful to notice that it's natural to have a fear reaction or an aggression reaction. And then the next time you see that person again, it's natural to have a little bit of a guarded reaction. And once we start recognizing that we are animals as well as humans, we can start adjusting our sort of self-care regimen accordingly. And that's where things like somatic work come in. Because just because you know that that thing wasn't super dangerous, if you're still feeling physical anxiety or disturbance after that event, the squirrel brain needs to be addressed. The animal needs to be soothed, even if your brain knows that everything's okay. And that's okay. That's natural. That's who we are. So that was a turning point for me, and I wanted to share it with you.